Businesses all across the planet are looking to make connections with people. Well, guess what? Divine Connections magazine is helping businesses not only walk in their purpose and passions, but to get connected to their potential. That's right. You've got to connect to your potential, and you can make it happen now because it is time to know your worth. As you get connected to people all across the planet, Divine Connections magazine will make it happen. And get featured in the magazine today and get your copy now, because there's no other time than a divine time to get connected to Divine Connections magazine.
Well, great day, everyone. I am your host, Deloris Williams, for Divine Connections magazine. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you guys like and share this broadcast. So Divine Connection is a faith-based and inspirational magazine that comes out quarterly in print as well as online. We connect with different businesses, entrepreneurs, gospel artists, praise dance, moms, vendors, anyone that's doing something great in the community. And then twice a year, we have two big events, and I am so excited. Our next big event is my Divine Connection 16th magazine anniversary. It's going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina at Intentional Church, which is 3817 Westgate City Boulevard. It's going to start at 11 a.m. You can get your tickets. You can text me at 336-823-2136. Tickets are $20, or you can cash app iOverflow, which is $IOVERFLOW. We're going to have gospel artists. We're going to have praise dance. We're going to have a dynamic speaker, and we're going to have over 14 vendors there as well. So we're going to come together, lift up the name of Jesus, give God all the glory, and support each other. So again, that date is Saturday, March 28th at 11 a.m. Saturday in Greensboro, North Carolina, Intentional Church, 3817 Westgate City Boulevard. So you want to make sure that you are there, and most importantly, just say a prayer so that those that attend or watching will be able to get a connection and get what they need. Okay, awesome. And so in October, we also have an event called the Divine Connections Bring It event, because I also want to include the kids. So we have praise dance, mom vendors, youth vendors during that time, and that's usually in September, October. So keep that in mind as well. So a couple of things that I have is my first book is called You Can Do It, Make It Happen, and Handle Your Business, because it is our responsibility to make wise decisions to make it happen, for us to be able to help people that's around us as well. Then my second book is The Key Connector, How to Build an Empire Helping People. So if you want to know how I do what I do with the help of the Lord, how I have dealt with challenges and accomplishments in my personal as well as my business life, definitely get the book. All right. You can text me for that as well. It's called The Key Connector, How to Build an Empire Helping People. And then the Bible also says, write the vision and make it plain. So we have journals as well. It is called Make It Happen. You are a divine connection because you are. We write the vision and make it plain, and we wait on God to answer our prayers. All right. So you definitely want to do that. And last but not least, the Divine Connections magazine, which comes out quarterly in print as well as online. And you can still get your spot in. We have like maybe one more week for you to get in, half page or full page advertisement to share your business, your church, your event, anything positive you have going on, you want to get in the next magazine. All right. And so we are definitely excited about that. So next, I'm going to show you just a little bit of video as I continue to grow with Divine Connections. We now have Divine Connections apparel. So we have shirts and hats and hoodies. And then I will also show you a little clip of one of the Divine Connections Bring It event. So we're going to go to that and we'll be right back. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you have any questions, if you want to attend the event, if you want to get the book or the magazine or advertise, if you have any questions, text 336-823-2136. And tickets for the upcoming event, which is Saturday, March 28th, is $20. You can text that number or cash out $I overflow. And that's lowercase IOVERFLOW. Now, for the good part, we have Miss Sylvia is our guest today. Listen, she has a lot of things that she is doing in the community that is definitely needed. I was blown away with just hearing her for the first time, and I am excited about what she is doing in the community to help individuals. All right, so I'm going to let her get into it. So will you help me welcome Miss Sylvia? Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, welcome to Divine Connections broadcast. How are you?
Thank you, Deloris. Thank you for having me on this evening. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
you are very welcome. Well, I'm excited about what you are doing in the community, so I wanted to share it with individuals. So let's just start with just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Okay. Well, my name is Sylvia Dennis Wray, better known as Sylvia D. Wray, the Advocate.
Okay.
I was born in Perry, Georgia, but I was raised in New Jersey. So I spent the majority of my life in New Jersey up until 2005 when I bought my home here in McDonough, Georgia. So I now reside in Metro Atlanta, a town called McDonough, Georgia. So that's where I'm from.
Awesome, awesome. And tell us what your passion is and what got you started into what you're doing right now. So give us a little background.
Okay, so as I mentioned, so I have branded myself as Sylvia D. Wray, the Advocate, and that is my passion. I advocate for those who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or any other related dementia and their families and their caregivers. So not just the person diagnosed, but everyone who supports them. And I got started doing this because I am a caregiver for my mom.
Yes.
In 2002, she had a ruptured brain aneurysm.
Wow.
And she had to go through intensive rehab and all of that. And at the time, my sisters and I, we were living in New Jersey. And then we had to move her. Once she was able to travel, we had to move her up to New Jersey so that she can continue to, do her rehab because she had to go through extensive rehab. Don't know if you know anything about a ruptured aneurysm, but a lot of people don't make it. And so then in 2005, like I said, moved to Georgia, bought a home here. And in 2000, so let me back up. After she did all her rehab, my sister was her first caregiver, and my sister was not able to handle it because she has small children at home, and I didn't. So I became her primary caregiver. And so in 2006, after we moved back to Georgia, she underwent a second surgery because she was having a rebleed in her brain.
Yeah.
And that after that second surgery, that left her with dementia. And so when the doctors told us she was diagnosed with dementia, we had no clue what dementia was.
Right.
We didn't know. So the research person in me, because I come from a corporate background, I was a research analyst and all that there. So, I started looking up and I found Alzheimer's disease. So for a very long time, I thought my mom had Alzheimer's disease. And so I was volunteering with the Georgia chapter, Alzheimer's Association, the Georgia chapter, with their walks and all of that. And as I became and got more educated, I found out that there were other dementia.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
So I was like, so do my mom really have Alzheimer's disease? So I went back to her neurologist and they did the neurology test and everything. Come to
Mm-hmm.
find out she didn't have Alzheimer's disease. She had what you call vascular dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then he began to explain to me that it has the same traits as Alzheimer's disease. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't progress as fast as Alzheimer's disease. And I was like, if I'd never asked that
That's
question,
right.
never, I would have never known, would have been going on thinking that she had Alzheimer's disease.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? And so I started getting more involved.
Mm-hmm.
Started a support group.
Nice.
Ended up being the executive director of the Alzheimer's Services Center, which is an
Wow.
adult day.
Yeah.
Day center, and their clients are those who are diagnosed with any type of dementia. So I did that for the past 6 years, and just in 2024, I launched my personal brand, Sylvia, the Advocate.
Awesome.
And from that point, I was just like, I want to educate. That's what I want to do. I want to educate. I want to advocate for those, because I'm an advocate for my mom.
Right.
But I want to do more. I want to do more. And so in 2024 was the first year I went to Washington. I go to the state capitol. Doing advocacy work, and in 2025 I went to Washington as an advocate. So very excited about that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got to where I am now.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's just through life experience and then asking questions. That's a very important thing, to ask questions. If something in the norm or someone that you know for a while and the behavior is different, and you want to find out what's really going on. So I'm glad that you were able to ask questions. So what is the difference between Alzheimer's and the dementia that you were talking about?
Okay, so first, Alzheimer's is dementia.
Okay.
So it's just the most common form. And that is the form that it puts, like when they do the MRI, they're able to tell which dementia, because it starts to eat away at the brain. Okay. And most people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, as they age. That's what it was in the past. But more and more, as research is showing that people get diagnosed early now. So you can get Alzheimer's disease, in your 40s, in your 50s. Wow. So, and it starts out as a mild cognitive, you start forgetting and all those things, because it's I forget what they call it. It's some kind of thing on your brain that starts to eat away at your brain.
Okay.
And so vascular dementia is, and it's just what it is. People get vascular dementia because of strokes, or high blood pressure, diabetes, and majority is because of you having a stroke or several strokes, which affects your brain, affects your vascular system. And so that's why it's called vascular dementia. And vascular dementia is very common in African American, and we don't realize that, so we can prevent that from happening.
Okay.
By eating healthy, exercising, and doing the things that we need to do to keep our brain healthy. So so that's what the difference is. And then, like I said, what the doctor was explaining to me is that it doesn't progress as fast as Alzheimer's disease. So there's different stages of Alzheimer's disease. And when you get into that late stage, then that's when you begin to forget your loved one, forget who they are, those types of things. Whereas vascular dementia is a little slower in the progress.
Okay. So once a person is diagnosed with vascular dementia, is there any way to stop it or just slow it down?
No,
Okay.
you cannot stop it. You cannot, it's going to do what it's going to do.
Okay.
But you can eat healthy and eat right.
Yeah.
But once you're diagnosed, it's there. They have medications that will help you control certain behaviors.
Okay.
And slow down. I think they say slow down the progression. But once you have it, there's no cure. There's no cure for none of the dementias.
All right, so let's talk about the caregiver, because it is a major responsibility for those that have loved ones that have to go through this or is going through this, and the care that you have to do in order to maintain them and yourself physically and mentally and spiritually.
Absolutely. So the caregiver, there's no manual on how to be a caregiver.
Right.
We, like I said, we were just thrown into this. We didn't ask for it or anything, but I would not change it for the world. My mom took care of me for 18 years, and so I can do the same thing. I can take care of her. But as being a caregiver, like I said, you have your moments. Where I always call it that caregivers suffer in silence. Because when you see me out on the streets, I have a smile on my face, but then you don't know what I'm going through once I get home. Once I get home, it's a whole nother story. And, I always say it's okay to let it out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad and stuff like that. But then you get up the next day and you just do the same thing.
With the help of the Lord.
But it is important. It is important that you take care of yourself and take time for yourself. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Get you a support system going. That's that support system that you need. And that support system may look like a neighbor or a friend, or even having someone come in so that you can get a break, because it's important that you get a break. So, you have to create that support system. And like I said, I didn't learn all of this overnight, so it ain't going to happen overnight. It took me a while to ask for help. So, so that's what I talk about. In my book, I talk about these things. I tell my story. I'm transparent. And I just, I tell the story about how the caregiver who needed caregiving. And that was very hard for me because I had to have 2 knee surgeries. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So all of that took a toll on me. And I was afraid to ask for help. I was tried to be the strong person and wanted to do it myself, but God had to humble me. He humbled me and said, "You cannot do this by yourself."
Right.
So
you talked about support groups. What are some resources that you can share as far as support groups for people dealing with this as well, and caregivers as well?
Correct. So when I said support groups, I was mentioning caregiver support groups.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize how important a caregiver support group was until I went to one day. And when I went, I was blown away, because you always sit back and you think, wow, I have to do this all by myself. Nobody, I ain't getting help from nobody. Nobody wants to help me. And, it's all, you saying all those things. But then when I went to a support group, I found out I wasn't the only one going through this. Other people go through this. And then you get to share stories, and it's just amazing how you get lifted up by listening to other people, and then you say, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. It is somebody else going through this, and stuff like that. So it's important. It's important to have the support groups. It's important to get the education. The Alzheimer's Association, they do a lot of education for caregivers. There's other groups, the Alzheimer's Foundation of America. They do, there's a lot of education. And so what I do is I bring the education to the community, because a lot of times those big organizations, they can't reach our community. Okay. And so that's what I do. I bring it to our community through lunch and learns, educational workshops. Like in June, we'll be having a caregiver symposium where you'll have a lot of people in the field who have, resources for caregivers. So we'll have all of that, and we'll have speakers and people who talk about the dementia and talk to caregivers.
Oh, that's awesome. And where is that? And when is that again?
That's going to be in June.
Okay.
I'm partnering with Henry County Senior Services and some other nonprofit organizations that are in the community to put this event together. So we're shooting for June.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be able to pull it off, because it's March now. It's March now.
I know.
Yeah. So that's our goal.
Okay.
For June.
Awesome. And it's much needed, because like you said, a lot of people don't talk about it, and you go through, and mental, spiritually, and physical, you go through it. I've seen people go through it. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for sharing and allowing people to learn from your experience, as well as connect with resources. Now, if somebody wanted your book, or wanted to connect with you, or talk with you, how can they get in contact with you?
They can visit my website, which is www.sylviadray.com, and that's Ray with a W. Or they can reach out to me on any social media platform at Sylvia D. Ray.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything else you want to share with us?
And so I was talking about my book. So the title of my book is called From Caregiver to Advocate. And like I said, I'm transparent. I talk about how I didn't ask for this caregiving role. But I feel that it was a calling on my life, that God, after going through everything that I went through, which I talk about, that I didn't realize that it was a calling that God had on my life. And I had to take me through it so that now I could be able to tell my testimony, be able to help other people, be able to educate the world about, tell my testimony. How they say you don't have a testimony until you go through a test. So that's how that's how the book was birthed. That's how Sylvia D. Ray, the Advocate, was birthed. And at the end of the book, I put a special prayer for caregivers. So that they, every night they can say this prayer, because that's what got me through.
Yes.
Praying and asking God for the patience.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that every day. Give me
That's
the
right.
patience.
That's
Because
right.
caring for somebody with any type of dementia is it's tough. It's
Yes.
tough. So yes. So that's the message.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then let's just end with some encouraging words.
Okay. You're not in this alone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like you're in it alone. And just seek God, seek
Yeah,
him first, and everything else will follow. That's my word for today. Seek him
ab-
first and everything else will follow.
absolutely, absolutely. But again, we want to say thank you for coming on to Divine Connections broadcast, and really thank you for what you are doing in the community, because it is much needed. You guys go also get her book, look for your support, things like she was talking about, and resources. They have something coming up in June, so look out for that. I'm sure she'll share the information once she gets it as well. She is also on all social media platforms. Sylvia D. Wray with the W-R-A-Y. And make sure you get connected with her in that. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. Awesome, awesome. So we will talk to you soon. We'll be right back. But thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, hold tight.
Okay.
All right, everyone. So thank you again for tuning in to Divine Connections broadcast. And again, our event is coming up, Divine Connections 16th magazine anniversary. It's going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina, and it is going to be at Intentional Church, 3817 Westgate City Boulevard. You can text 336-823-2136 for tickets. Tickets are $20, or you can cash app iOverflow. If you want to advertise in the magazine, make sure you connect with us as well. And ad runs for 3 months. Remember, this is Divine Connections, and you are a Divine Connections, but you need to stay connected to the number one, Divine Connector, which is Jesus Christ. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Divine Connections magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.